She was 25. He was 30. For 3 years, she kept their relationship a secret because he asked her to. She never met his family, never met his friends, never got a single "yes, come meet everyone." She told herself it was patience. She told herself it was love. But yesterday, she opened Facebook and she saw the truth smiling back at her, in someone else's arms. This is a true story. Names have been changed to protect her privacy. But every tear in this story is real. Stay till the end, because what she chose to do next says more about her than anything he ever did to her. Her name was Mira, 25 years old, still finishing her studies in the Philippines, still living in her parents' house, still dreaming in the small, quiet way that people do when their world hasn't gotten big yet. And then she fell in love with a man named Adrian. Adrian was 30. Years earlier, his family had moved to the United States, and now he spent his days as a cook in the kitchen of a small pub, an ocean and a lifetime away from everything Mira knew. They'd known each other long before they became a couple in 2023. And from the very first conversation about what they were to each other, Adrian set one condition. "Not yet," he told her. "Let's keep this between us. I have my reasons. Trust me." So she did. She trusted him with all of it. Her time, her loyalty, her 20s. She told herself distance made everything complicated. She told herself his circumstances were serious enough not to question. She told herself that one day, he would finally say the words she had been waiting years to hear. "Come meet everyone. Be part of my life out loud." That day never came. Not once in 3 years did she stand in a room with his family. Not once did his friends know her name. But there were good days too, days she still replays when she can't sleep. In 2024, Adrian flew home for a whole month. They went on dates. They walked familiar streets like an ordinary couple with nothing to hide. For 30 days, she let herself believe this was real, that it was solid, that it was leading somewhere. Then, February 2026, he came home again, this time for a family matter. And once more, everything felt perfect. She remembers thinking, almost proudly, "We're doing so well. We're finally healthy." She had no idea that everything was already unraveling behind her back, in places she couldn't see and people she'd never met. Every long-distance relationship collects its ghosts, names that appear in stories a little too often, people you've never met but somehow already resent before you even know why. For Mira, that name arrived in 2025. Adrian mentioned a woman from his volleyball group, someone with a better driver's license, someone who offered to teach him how to drive, help him buy his first car, take him to places he couldn't reach on his own. "She's just a friend," he told her. Nothing more. Mira remembers the exact tightness in her chest when she asked, gently, carefully, "Couldn't a guy have helped you instead?" And she remembers how fast he waved the question away, how ordinary he made it sound, how small he made her feel for even asking it. So she let it go. What else could she do from thousands of miles away? All she had was his word, and she chose again and again to believe it. But weeks turned into months. The driving lessons became road trips. The road trips became visits to Adrian's family, in a city Mira had never once set foot in. During days when Adrian said he couldn't even bring his phone, for reasons he never fully explained, only ever calling them serious. For days at a time, Mira had no way of reaching the man she'd built her whole world around. No text back, no call, no voice note to hold onto in the silence. Just a slow, sinking dread she talked herself out of over and over. She stopped asking for much. Not constant updates, just something. A single message. A sign he was safe. A sign she still mattered enough to be told, even briefly, where he was and who he was with. "I'm just not the type to check in all the time," he told her, more than once. And because she loved him, because loving him had become the only thing she knew how to do well anymore, she accepted that too. There's a particular kind of loneliness that comes from crying over someone who has no idea you're crying. Mira cried the night Adrian left with this woman again, without telling her beforehand. He already had his license by then. There was no more "I need her to drive me" to hide behind. He simply left, and Mira found out only after it had already happened. She didn't shout. She didn't threaten to walk away. Instead, she did the thing she always did. She apologized for feeling anything at all. "I get jealous," she told him, "but I'll try harder. I won't cry anymore. It's okay if you need to unwind." 3 days later, he came back from another trip, this time with the same woman and a few others, and told her almost nothing about it. When she finally worked up the courage to ask if something was going on between them, he swore it wasn't. He said his body was sore from all the activities. He said they'd had to share a room with another girl because his sister's place had run out of space. He said he slept on the floor alone and nothing happened. And God help her, she believed him, because believing him hurt so much less than the alternative sitting quietly in the back of her mind. Last week, he mentioned another trip. An event, he said. Then, just yesterday, the plan shifted. They'd be leaving earlier than planned, for a dental appointment. Something in Myra's stomach twisted at that. It wasn't an emergency. Why leave early at all? But it wasn't the plan that told her the truth first. It was his voice. His voice notes sounded different. Lighter, warmer. Happier in a way she hadn't heard directed at her in longer than she wanted to admit. She told herself it was because he was talking to her. She wanted so badly for that to be true. Mira isn't the type to check up on people. She isn't the jealous girlfriend stalking social media type, and she'd tell you that herself. But something pulled at her that day. Call it instinct. Call it 3 years of quiet, unexplainable dread finally reaching its limit. And she opened Facebook and searched for this woman's name. She prayed she'd find nothing. Instead, she found everything. Photo after photo. Adrian, smiling in a way she barely recognized. A smile she hadn't seen aimed at her in longer than she wanted to count. His arm around this woman. His lips against her cheek. And then the dancing. The same dance Mira had asked him to do with her years earlier. The one he always said he was too shy for, too tired for, too not that kind of guy for. He was doing it, freely, joyfully, with someone else. Every small, ordinary thing Mira had ever asked for, every gesture of love she had begged for across 3 years and thousands of miles of silence, he had handed to another woman without hesitation. Not because he couldn't give them to Mira, because he simply hadn't wanted to. She sat frozen, staring at her phone, feeling something break inside her chest that she didn't yet have a name for. Not just anger, not just grief. Something closer to watching 3 years of her life rearrange themselves into a story she'd never actually been the center of. Mira didn't scream. She didn't call him in tears. She didn't send an angry message full of accusations demanding he explain himself. She sat with it. For hours, she sat with the wreckage of 3 years quietly falling apart around her. And then she wrote him something else entirely. A goodbye. Not bitter, not cruel, grateful. A message thanking him for everything he had given her. Even as she finally said the one word she never thought she'd have the strength to say out loud, goodbye. She sent it, and then she waited. waited for him to come online, waited to see if there was still any sincerity left in a man who had spent years promising her that if he ever felt something for someone else, he would walk away first, that he would be the one to tell her so she'd never have to find out like this. He never got the chance to keep that promise, because she found out on her own, in a stranger's photo album, before he ever had the courage to say it himself. Here is what Mira knows now, even through the shaking, the numbness, the disbelief that hasn't fully worn off. She was never the problem. Not her patience, not her loyalty, not the love she gave so freely for so long. She handed over 3 years of her life to a someday that Adrian never actually intended to keep. She accepted secrecy as if it were simply how careful love behaved. She accepted silence as devotion. She accepted excuses instead of answers, and for far too long she called that understanding. But real love doesn't require you to disappear for days at a time. Real love doesn't ask you to wait for a permission that never arrives. It doesn't let someone else be introduced to the family, the friends, the whole life, while you wait quietly on the other side of a phone that never rings. Mira is heartbroken tonight, and she may be heartbroken for a while yet. But somewhere underneath that heartbreak sits the first fully honest thing Adrian has given her in years: the truth. And painful as it is, that truth is the one thing letting her finally stop waiting for a man who left her a long time ago, quietly, while making absolutely sure she never noticed the door closing behind him. If you've ever waited years for someone who was never truly planning on choosing you back, you are not alone, and you were never foolish for hoping. Loyalty is never the mistake. Loving the wrong person for all the right reasons doesn't make you a fool. It makes you someone who knows how to love completely, and one day someone will finally deserve it. If this story moved you, tell us in the comments. Have you ever found out the truth the way Mira did?